for Ty Robinson coming along here. John, another guy who's been standing out to me through the 2 preseason games, and the reports from practice were that he's looked good all through summer as well. And the biggest change for this player for me is last year he looked like still, I don't want to use them, a boy coming out of college. This year he looks like a man on the NFL football field, and that's Jeremiah Trotter Jr., John. He had a great sack tonight. Perfect timing, as perfect as it can get. I think he had the quarterback in less than 2 seconds on that play. I just think he's a damn good player. I don't know if he's going to get snaps. I don't know if it ever gets to a point, where he is pushing for snaps at some point in the regular season. I understand he's behind 2 good linebackers. But what you see from Jeremiah Trotter, man, he's had a good summer.
Yeah, I just think he's a really good football player. He's just caught behind 2 better football players at linebacker for the Eagles. I think he's a starting level linebacker in this league. I think eventually he'll be probably one of those guys that, just like Milton Williams and probably Moro Jomo after this year, I think he'll be that at the linebacker position, might have to go somewhere else to get that opportunity. But I think he can flat out play. He shows it. It's no surprise every time he's out there. Tremendously instinctive. I think it was 8 minutes into the game where he had figured out Tommy DeVito's cadence and just came on the blitz untouched because he knew the snap count. Like, he's so instinctive. I don't want to bring up Luke Kuechly's name, but there's a little bit of that. People will talk about Nakobe Dean's instincts, and they're right. He was a very instinctive linebacker. That's Trotter's like Nakobe Dean. That's the type of player he is. He's not the best athlete out there, but he's so smart. There's no false steps. The worst thing playing linebacker in this league, you could be Devin White and be the super athlete,
right?
And you have a false step, and
you're done.
It turns into a 4.7, and meanwhile the 4.6 guy turns into a 4.5 because he's always in the right spot and he always understands. So that to me is the type of player he is, and he's just he's just going to be rock solid every time he's out there because he's that smart of a football player.
Do you feel as though, John, there's a world that we can look to in the future, not this year, obviously, where Jihaad Campbell and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. could be your 2 linebackers in Philadelphia?
No, because Zack Baun, I don't know. Zack Baun is the best player on the Philadelphia Eagles that nobody understands is like an all-pro level player.
I wasn't trying to discredit Zach. Obviously, he's incredible, but contracts happen, John. You got a 30-year-old player,
Yeah, but he's not. We've talked about that. He's not. He didn't play his first 5 years, which is a stain on the Saints, but he played such little reps. He didn't. He doesn't have the tread off the tire that a typical 30-year-old would be. He's played 2 years here. He's been one of the top 2 or 3 linebackers in the NFL for both of those seasons. When we talk about Jihaad Campbell's upside, and we talk about Jeremiah Trotter and Nakobe Dean, these are all good players. None of them are going to reach the heights that you saw Zack Baun have over the past 2 seasons. He's a different level. He's an all-pro. He's, other than Fred Warner, you can't point to one linebacker in this league that's played better over the last 35 games because he plays in the playoffs than Zack Baun. So I don't even think about moving on.
I get it. I think Zach's great too. My thinking is more about with Cooper and Quinion coming up next year after paying Jordan and Carter does he eventually cut or try and crunch a little bit? I think I understand your point. John, leave upside aside for a second. Leave athletic prowess aside for a second. Leave potential aside for a second. Is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. a better linebacker than Jihaad Campbell is right now on August 22nd, 2026?
No. I think, I think he's, as I said, he's more instinctive. I think he understands how to play the position better. But I think, Jihaad Campbell is such a gifted athlete, such a unique body type. Um, he creates hurdles that others can't create. I talk about his 6'8" wingspan all the time. So you can imagine if you're a quarterback trying to layer the football over the linebacker and in front of the safety,
Yeah,
how
right.
difficult it will be to do it with Jihaad Campbell. And he came in as a rookie in those first 7 games and really the entire season. It was graded as one of the best coverage linebackers in football. The other stuff he keeps getting better at. Now there's still room to grow. You'd love to mesh his athleticism and his physical gifts with the instincts of trot, which you can't do. Seems to always be the way. You wish you could, but you can't. That's sort of like Zack Baun. He's got instincts and he's got tremendous physical gifts. Not quite to the level of Jihaad, but great for the average linebacker. But no, Jihaad's going to play, and I know a lot of people have gone down that route. And even Vic, who gets frustrated with Jihaad at times, he gets frustrated with Drew Makuba, some of the young players who aren't totally immersed in the system and totally understand everything. But even him, he'll shut down when you try to ask about piecemealing it, as I did the one time. Jihaad's going to play, barring injury, and things happen, and he's got the shoulder issues. That's my only concern with Jihaad Campbell. I mean, he's got shoulder issues in both shoulders, so and potentially degenerative. That's why he went where he went. If he didn't have those issues, you're probably talking about a top 15 player in the draft.
Yeah, I get that.
So, I mean,
I've just seen such great development, Aaron, from Trotter. I'm not even trying to take away from Campbell. I think he's going to be great, but good answer there, John.